Hey guys, welcome back. BDC Care here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of August 29th, 2024. The current character challenge is Godfall Superman. That is a 1 week repeat. The required characters for the challenge are Lex Luthor, Batman, and Doomsday. You can get as low as bronze, gold, and silver, respectively. So, kind of par for the course. Standard-ish. It's a natural and logical progression of needing one of each sort of basic tier.
And it's the representative of his universe.
That's true.
Because Batman actually, Brave and the Bold, Lex Luthor is his classic nemesis, and Doomsday killed him.
Yeah. So his passive is the Power of Candor, which is on successful blocks. Superman reflects all basic damage. He's got 1,000 attack, 1,250 health. And he was last available last year, late
almost exactly last year.
Yeah,
almost 1 year ago. Now that we're getting into adding back all the missing challenge characters.
Yeah.
So he's got decent kind of middling stats for a challenge character. The interesting thing is that at one point he was among the highest stat cards. So along with the original not so good Darkseid and the gold pack Chase Shazam, those three were the highest threat level cards that would draw the most defensive fights, because as the fight ladder progressed, there weren't any higher stat teams to be matched against.
Yeah, so everybody would slowly be funneled into this team.
Yeah, but, they have no synergy. The win percentage was awful, but, when you're drawing more than 1,000 fights like that one season we did, you can get more than 100 wins, which is ridiculous. So he's cheap to promote. It's something that's pretty easy to lose sight of. He's only 274,000 power credits per copy. And very much like Master's Death card, the secret part of his passive, like the secret ability in Master's Death card, is that the reflecting basic block damage, it generates power.
Right? Yeah, like you're doing the hits.
Right, so Master's Death card, the hits on tag-in is the ability. They don't tell you that it generates a bunch of power, and they don't tell you here that it generates a bunch of power, but it does. So each bit of damage to the opponent from blocked hit counts like a regular hit would for generating power.
Yeah.
So, and because the opponent is an AI, they will finish their combo. So this is one of those few times where it's actually good that they complete their combo, because they give you more power. Mm-hmm. So the ridiculous thing is that the amount of power generated is even better than what Regime Wonder Woman gets, whose passive is entirely just generating power on blocked hits. Not reflected. She just generates power. She takes the regular blocked hit damage, but she generates less power, which just goes to show you how much... back in the day when we were still getting new characters, how much power creep was an issue.
It's true.
So this is actually kind of awful in offline play, because the opponent generates power for hitting you and for taking reflected damage if you block, but it's great for online play. And so despite a pretty good passive, I had a hard time finding a spot for Godfall Superman on any teams, just because, it's not like he's the worst, but there's just usually better options. If you don't even try to play with his passive and go all in on him as a special specialist like we're doing here in this footage, he's not awful. So he's one of three characters who can take advantage of the boosted damage against frozen opponents that you get from Necron Scythe, because of freezing in the middle of their special twos, like Killer Frost and New 52 Superman, and one of only two that is unblockable after that freeze. The problem is he does a lot of his damage in the first two hits. So that's not... You don't get as much bang for that.
Yeah.
Now, it's good, actually, that his special two is 4 hits. With the third hit, the freeze. And what is helpful is that the freeze actually doesn't do a lot of damage, so it saves more of it for the end hit. It would just be nicer, I think, if he froze it at the beginning instead of at the end.
Yeah, it's true.
So this current loadout that we've got is a little different from the last one we did. So we're giving him Claw of Horus mainly because it is handy against a lot of the Astral Harnesses that we're facing. And last time it was more effective with the Necron Scythe when his last hit 129,000 is actually pretty good. I think that's probably a better loadout than what we've got here. Most characters who don't have boosted health or reduced damage will get knocked out with that amount on his special 2.
Yeah.
What else? So, I mean, I think we did some calculations last time. It was still less than half, maybe about 40% was the last hit's damage. It's not as good as, say, a Batgirl, where most of the damage, almost all the damage is after stunning. It's not as good as the special 2 for Batman Ninja Batman, where almost all of it is after the stunning. I guess the only thing is that the one advantage you get with the freeze is there aren't any characters on teams that are immune to freeze, the same way some are immune to stun. And so if you end up facing a Red Sun Green Lantern team, that is a little bit helpful. So as a strategy for replacing replacing Necron Scythe with Claw of Horus to destroy Astro Harness, the previous strategy worked a little better. Because there was less damage from the first 2 hits, you get away with using his special 2 against Astro Harness as long as the first 2 hits didn't trigger the next invulnerability. What else? Oh, the other important thing about his special 2, the first hit is not ranged. So there are lots of times where when you tag in and you've got Master's Death card on him, it shoves the opponent far enough away that the first hit of the special 2 will miss. Not a great loss, but you're losing maybe about a third of the damage of that special. Second hit is ranged, third hit is ranged, fourth hit is ranged. There's a bit of a pause between the second and third hit. So if you knock out an opponent on the second hit, he will freeze the opponent coming in as long as they're not invulnerable. Yeah. And then he gets the unblocked special 2. Last hit, frozen, which is nice.
So there we go.
Yeah.
So we're not entirely sure what to expect next week for the challenge, right? Because this is the new week next week. Or the new character.
It should be, right? So this is week 18 of that new cycle that we're sort of tracking for the first time.
So who are you expecting? Who's right. Your guess?
So out of the 14 missing challenge characters, if I had to guess one based on almost no information, I would say it's Injustice 2 Aquaman.
Yeah.
And the packs, we'll go into a bit more detail, don't really give us a great clue about who's next.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go. Moving on to the multiplayer reward, this week it's Flashpoint Deathstroke. His passive is Pirate Crew, which is Deathstroke has a chance on special attacks to be assisted by Flashpoint teammates, and the more Flashpoint characters, the more attacks he gets on his combo ender. He starts as 1,240 attack and 1,360 health as his base stats. He was last available in January of this year, 25th of January. We expect next week to be the Batmobile.
Right.
Which is the worst... best tier of gear, worst entry in that tier.
Right. So Deathstroke's got really good stats. It's not the highest, but it's close enough to really not be any different. Just by being Flashpoint, for no other reason, he is one of the best cards, simply because he can take advantage of Batman's crit damage boost. But aside from that, his own passive, both elements are pretty great. So if you want him to be your basic damage specialist, you gear him for that, and you get all these extra combo ender hits. So in a normal combo, right, a tap combo, you get 2%, 2%, 2% for the first 3 hits. And then if you're lucky and you get the combo, you get 3% more. So that's 9% total. With no Flashpoint teammates, already he's got the 2/2/2 of the tap combo, but his combo ender is 4 hits, each 3% of his damage stat. And so instead of getting 9% of his damage stat when you get a combo ender, you get 18%. But on top of that, if he's got Flashpoint teammate, he gets another 3 more combo ender hits.
Yeah.
That are worth 3%, 4%, and 4%. So you go from 9 from a regular character, 18% with Flashpoint Deathstroke, and then if he's got 2 Flashpoint teammates, 29% of his damage stat. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And despite that, we usually gear him to be our special specialist because his special 1 becomes deadly enough from the specials assist part of his passive to knock out most opponents, even if they have a revive. So, you face Blackest Night, the Hawkgirl team, Fourth World gear set. It knocks them out because the special 1 is so many hits, and it follows through after they revive. you give him League of Assassin's Knives for splash, he is so deadly.
There we go.
Main weakness, if you're facing someone with Astro Harness, because...
you'll likely trigger some of those.
Right, if they're not blocking, each of your hits generates power for them while they're invulnerable.
Yeah.
And so he there's no real great strategy except to just mash the opponent. It's not a one-hit special one like, say, Batgirl, where you could just bypass all the invulnerabilities. You have to just sit through them all, but the only time you're really wasting is how long the invulnerability lasts, because really you can just smash them to the ground.
Yeah.
The other main sort of, and I put this in air quotes, weakness would be against the Red Sun Green Lantern team. So the lack of crit hits brings a Flashpoint team back to Earth, since if you're not doing crit damage, the crit damage boost is irrelevant. And that also affects every other team that's fighting against a Red Sun Green Lantern team, but it's a bigger drop because they were
you're
so
losing
high.
a higher percentage of your damage.
Right, because they were just doing so much damage. Because they were that much better, to be brought down to the level of everybody else, it feels so much worse.
Yeah.
Right.
So moving on to the store, we have the character bundle Darkside War Pack for $24.99 Canadian, because that's a currency we have access to.
Yeah.
And that comes with Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, Apocalypse Darkseid, and their 2 signature gears.
Right.
We have the Tag Team Pack, which has been in for its 2nd week. And we also have the Survivor Pack, which is just coming back. That's 670,000 power credits. It comes with Mortal Kombat X Scorpion. It comes with Classic Scorpion and Bounty Hunter Lobo. And does it say on the pack that it comes with just Scorpion?
Well, so the problem is there's no character that's really Scorpion, right? There's a Mortal Kombat Scorpion, there's a Mortal Kombat X Scorpion, and Classic Scorpion. And the picture on the package is Classic Scorpion.
Yeah.
So this is why it's interesting. None of the packs, except for the Tag Team Pack, which is its 2nd week, which I don't know if it counts, has any characters that are among the Lost Challenge characters. So there's 2 things that we can guess, potentially, because we don't have any new packs that have it, but if we base it on the packs that are still present in the store, could Hawkgirl Prime potentially be the challenge character? Yes. The other thing we're going by is that the pattern of the returning challenge characters is that so far, out of the 9 missing challenge characters, lost challenge characters that have come back, all but 1 had a challenge as recently as 2020. And there's only 1 other character left out of the missing challenge characters that has had a challenge since 2020. That's Aquaman Injustice 2. Now, the other one could be Hawkgirl Prime. Hawkgirl Prime has never had a challenge on Android. I believe she has had one on iOS. So my first guess would be Injustice 2 Aquaman. My second guess would be Hawkgirl Prime. I don't really have anything else because there's not much else to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. Finally, Phantom Zone is finished for the time being. Fight 62 is still broken. We've got double XP probably for Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. I mean, they always like to celebrate
whenever there's a reason.
North American. Or maybe it's in the world. I don't know. It feels like it's
Labor
North
Day.
American.
I have no clue. Yeah. Last week, a lot of vacation days feel very arbitrary and fake.
Yes.
Regardless, or for things that it's hard to imagine everybody caring about, even if you know. I'm not gonna say nobody does, but right. I don't even really know what Labor Day is for.
Isn't it celebrating labor, like unions and stuff?
Maybe
we should look that up.
Regardless, yeah. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and Lobo. So this coming weekend should be Lex Luthor, Batman, and Doomsday. And there's a link in the description to a Reddit thread from Devlin16 with a full breakthrough cycle if you want to check that out for yourself. As far as current glitches go, we go into more detail every time something changes or on the first week of every month, which would be our recap from the 1st of August of 2024 this month. Importantly, we've tested and confirmed that the challenge reset is working on the Godfall Superman challenge. And just even though Phantom Zone is not up right now, make sure you think somewhere in the back of your head about resetting progress on both when you reset progress on either, because otherwise you will accidentally reset progress on something that you've put work into. And that's no fun.
Wikipedia says it's a federal holiday in the United States celebrating or recognizing the American labor movement.
Okay, that's cool. I support that.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it, but cool. And to finish up, we'd like to give a huge thank you to our wonderful patrons on Patreon.
That would be Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, Hoshi127, Nora Klimek, and Paolo-Cesar-Pablo-Juan, who are supporting us on the credited level, and 5x5, who's supporting us on the gratitude level.
Thank you so much for your support, and thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.